Let's just hope that it comes up as public instead of private and we can get ready to go. Okay, and it looks like it is set to public, so we are set to go. There's the chat. Gonna post the X, and we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Suds in the Squared Circle, Suds News. I am Vinny, and Christy will be joining us momentarily. She's running late with something, but we've got a lot to talk about. Um, because we do. We have a lot to go over regarding the big news with WWE. I mean, I did do a lot of Squared Circle news over the weekend and or over the last week, I should say. We did go ahead and I did talk about all of Vince McMahon's scandals and everything. And I actually posted the Patreon exclusive video earlier today, patreon.com. And that is patreon.com/suds and squared circle. Go over there, sign up. It's only a $5 a month membership tier. And I also did put up my days notes from earlier today as well as I watch days. And I'll be doing more in terms of days updates. I'll be doing Y&R updates, B&B updates, and so on and so forth over on Patreon. But we're live. We're live. So my name is Vinny, like I said, and Christy will be coming in momentarily. But let's get started on the WWE Royal Rumble. And Cody Rhodes, congratulations to the American Nightmare. He goes on to win back-to-back Royal Rumbles. The first time that's happened since 1998, 26 years ago. And that was Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Cody Rhodes wins, last eliminating CM Punk. Now it begs the question, because the other big news that came out of Saturday night was that CM Punk, or actually we were just notified yesterday that CM Punk tore his triceps muscle, and he is out now for 3 to 6 months, including rehab. So he's going to be out of action. He's going to miss WrestleMania. So, with that said, that's going to change um, the entire trajectory of what WrestleMania was supposed to be, because everybody knew Cody was set to face Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins was going to be main eventing night one with CM Punk. Well, now Punk is out, and Seth Rollins look to be shifting a little bit. Seth Rollins came out tonight on Raw to talk to Cody Rhodes and said, "Would you rather go after the Hollywood belt, the one that's held by Roman Reigns, who's maybe comes in every 3 months? It's just kind of a figurehead belt. However, or do you want to go after the belt that's working man's belt, which is the belt your father would have chosen, the guy that's going to go out, the blue collar belt?" And Cody's got a decision to make. So could we see Cody go after Seth Rollins and fight Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, and then that opens up The Rock to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and then that keeps Roman Reigns having the title, and then he could hold it through SummerSlam, through September, to go to pass over Hogan, because I don't think he's going to get to either um, Backlund or Bruno. In this day and age, I mean, there's a lot of people that are getting sick of Roman's reign now as it is, and he's had it for 3.5 years. I doubt he's going to be able to make it to 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 years. Like during the territory years of WWF time. So, it remains to be seen. I don't really care either way about which way it goes, because I think it's going to be a great WrestleMania no matter what, and I will be there. Um, but anyways, thank you for coming in and viewing us and clicking on that link. go ahead and click like, subscribe, get notified. Then the same thing with the podcast as well. Go over to your favorite podcast app, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, uh, and all the other podcast apps as well. You can go ahead and subscribe for all of our shows are on the same feed. That's not only this show, Suds in the Squared Circle, which is actually Suds News, the mothership, so to speak. But you will also be getting Dockside at the Bay, as well as Squared Circle News. Everything is under the same feed, just like everything's up on the same YouTube channel. And go over and support our Patreon, patreon.com// Suds and Squared Circle. Visit our website, sudsandsquaredcircle.com. And of course, as always, we are now an official affiliate of the WWE merchandise, WWE shop. Go over to sudsandsquaredcircle.com/wrestling merch. That uses our affiliate link, and we get commission. That'll definitely help out the show. And I do want to thank James Law Jr. for the Buy Me a Coffee that he helped out with earlier today. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much for that. It definitely helps. Okay. So, as you know, last week was big in WWE. I'm going to wait for the General Hospital news until Christy gets here because of the simple fact that we need the interaction. The chat is open. Feel free to post. Feel free to chat. Let us know what you're thinking. If you're here for WWE chat, and if you're here for WWE news, there's a lot to go over. I'm not going to get into the graphic details of the Vince McMahon scandal here because, quite honestly, that's not for what this show is. I did do a Squared Circle News segment about it over the weekend. It was, I believe, Thursday or Friday during the day. So that is already up on both the podcast feed and on YouTube. Go check that out in the archives. I'm not going to get into that because the language in that is just so ridiculously graphic. And I'm not going to actually comment on it. What I will say is this. What has to be done has to be done, and I'm going to leave it to the courts. Honestly, I feel it's going to be settled out of court because that's probably the best way that it's going to be handled. Um, I do want to bring up, I did listen to Jim Cornette's drive through and his what he posted on YouTube regarding his thoughts about the McMahon scandal and what happened. There was a lot of clickbait earlier this weekend regarding Jim Cornette and Brian Last and their view of what happened with Vince. And what it was the clickbait was, oh, Jim Cornette said that the victim liked what was going on. But here's the deal. He did not say that specifically. He said, why didn't she get out of there earlier than the 2 years or whatever? So she must have liked getting the money, and because he didn't pay, that's why she's suing. Which is in essence what happened with the NDA. You know, she signed an NDA. Signed the NDA, was supposed to get $3 million. Instead, he stopped paying after $1 million, and now she's going to court, and now all this is coming out. So, in essence, that's what Jim Cornette was pointing out, was that she enjoyed the money, regardless of what was going on. Now, is that painting the victim a bad color? Maybe. And honestly, I'm not going to say anything regarding that because A, I don't want to upset people or offend people. And the other thing is, like, it's not my place. I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury, or I'm not on the potential jury. I'm just a podcaster that read through the horrific report and really needs to wash my eyes out with soap after reading that. Because that was insane. Insane. Also, while you're watching, if you see me drink out of my awesome tumbler, if you want to get any personalized or custom tumblers made, go to Creations by Riss, RISS, creations by Riss at gmail.com. Check them out. And on Facebook, Creations by Riss as well, RISS. So check that out. Check out her stuff. It's fantastic. Okay. So where are we moving on to here? I did go over the Royal Rumble itself and Cody Rhodes winning again. However, here's the deal. At the Royal Rumble event, we also had uh, Roman Reigns defending the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship in a fatal four-way match against LA Knight, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles. Now, as we all know, Roman Reigns um, is the tribal chief. He's the one that's the head of the table, the head of the bloodline. This storyline's been going on now for 3.5 years. And you know what? It's the greatest storyline they've come up with. I'm enjoying what they're doing with the Judgment Day right now on Raw, which is great because they're the new big faction, right? Um, so when you have Roman Reigns now coming in, defending his title, he's never been in a fatal four way, or he's never defended in a fatal four way. And there were a number of times where he may have lost the title. As a matter of fact, there is definitely a possibility he could have lost the title a couple of times. Of course, he got hit with the blunt force trauma, and LA Knight was ready to win, and here comes Solo Sikoa. Here's the deal. A lot of people are upset because it seems that every time there's a WWE Championship match, Roman Reigns wins because of Solo Sikoa's help. The outside interference of the bloodline, whether it's Solo, whether it's Jimmy Uso, whether it's Jey Uso back then or Sami Zayn, whatever. The fact is that Roman Reigns always has someone helping him. That's the point. That's the point of being a heel. Okay, and not to mention, here's what they're probably planning for. So obviously, you're looking at The Rock, who is now a member of the WWE Board of Directors, and he's also kind of the one that, while you have the High Chief Peter Maivia, you had Rocky Johnson, you have, Afa and Sika, the Wild Samoans, you had Samu and Fatu, the Head Shrinkers, or the Samoan SWAT team, whatever way you want to look at them. You had Umaga, you had Rosie, Jamal, 3 Minute Warning. You had all these guys coming up in the Samoan bloodline, but who are the two biggest names that come out of the Samoan bloodline? Oh, let me forget Yokozuna either. But you have The Rock, who is probably the biggest name in Hollywood right now. Although he's had a couple of failed ventures, he failed to take over the DC comic universe with the Black Adam flop, which I don't understand because I thought it was a good movie, but I'm not a big comic book guy. I really only saw Black Adam because The Rock was in it. I'm more of a Marvel Avengers kind of guy. But that's neither here nor there. And The Rock is the biggest name in Hollywood. He's probably one of the richest men in America at this point, especially because he got a $30 million payoff for joining the board of directors of TKO. He's the biggest star to come out of that Samoan bloodline until here's Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has fought his way to the top. And you'll have to excuse my voice. I've been sick over the past couple of days, so my voice isn't the greatest right now. So you go ahead and you have Roman Reigns, who is the tribal chief, the one who's saying he's the head of the table. The Rock comes out on January 1st on Monday Night Raw, cuts that promo. Should I sit in a booth? Should I sit at the bar? Should I sit at the head of the table? Planting seeds, right? Here's the deal. The elders, Afa, Sika, and everybody else in the bloodline, right? They tasked Solo Sikoa with being the enforcer. Make sure that Roman Reigns keeps his title. So you're going to get that kind of interference until it's a steel cage. And even if there's a cage, there's interference. So you're going to see it. Does that mean that Reigns is unstoppable? Of course, because of Solo. Here's where the twist comes in. You're going to see The Rock challenge Roman Reigns for the head of the table. He's not going to go after the WWE title. He doesn't need the title, right? So you get The Rock in there, and he's going to go on against Solo Sikoa go on against Roman Reigns. Who's going to interfere, right? Solo Sikoa. Now, here's where it comes in. Okay. You're going to have Solo Sikoa come in and help The Rock beat the current head of the table and become the next, the rightful tribal chief? Or is he going to help Roman Reigns? But here's the deal, the story goes on. Wait until somebody gets in Solo's ear and says, hey, the only reason why Roman is still the head of the table is because of Solo Sikoa. As you can see, Christie's about to join in. But wait until Solo Sikoa comes in and says, hey, Roman, I'm going to be the next head of the table, and I'm taking that title from you. There's the story you're trying to tell. So you're going to get the interference all the time in a Roman Reigns match because of the situation with the elders. Anyways, Christy, welcome. How are
Thank
you today?
you. I'm good. Thank you for allowing me to be late. I apologize to anyone who's like, "Where's Christy?" I'm here.
Well, nobody's asked for you in the chat, so I
I
can't.
know. I'm sad. I'm so sad. No one missed me. Okay, I get it. I'm sorry. But
Anyways, um, welcome. How was your day today? How was your week gone?
busy. I think I finally come down from my high of going to New York to try to meet Austin Butler. So I finally around 3 in the afternoon today, I was like, oh, now I'm feeling tired. It's
Yep,
finally starting to wear off the excitement.
yep.
Yeah.
I get it.
So
I completely
then I needed
understand.
a nap, which I took. So
Well,
then I
that's
went to
always a
Lake
good
Group
thing.
and now I'm here. So
All right. Well, this is we're going to be getting into General Hospital the week of January 22nd until January 26th, 2024. Could you believe that January's already almost over?
I know, isn't that insane?
It is crazy.
Like the year always goes by so quick, and like because we get so busy with our lives and watching General Hospital or whatever that we're just like, dang, it's like the end of January already. And like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
All right. Well, um, so so we've got a number of stuff to go over. Obviously, the new head writing won't take effect until March. We already know that. But the show has been absolutely fantastic. Oh, Chad, welcome. Thanks for the chat in there. Hey Vinny, I've been listening to you uh the whole time. Talk WWE, didn't want to interrupt you and your flow. Hey Christy, I missed you. So um Chad did say that he missed you. I can't hear you. Are you muted?
sorry, I muted myself for a second to open up something. Yes, thank you, Chad. I yeah, he's a good friend of mine, so yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Good. Um, all right. So we do have a lot of stuff to go over in General Hospital, but it has been fantastic. Um, we know that Nicholas took Ace, so now we're dealing with the after effects. On Monday, um, you had Esme go visit Heather.
Mm,
Um, that's got to
yeah.
be the biggest storyline because it's all coming to a head now. Nicholas Alexander Chavez taking a break. He's off doing his Netflix show. They did announce what his last air date was going to be. I did not read the spoiler, so I'm just watching as it goes. Uh,
Mm, yeah.
because he is doing that Netflix show, um,
Right.
which is going to be the new home of the WWE as well, or Monday
Oh,
Night Raw,
well, there we
starting
go.
in January of
There's the
2020.
connection. Always drawing those connections between wrestling and General Hospital. Like I talked
Yes,
to
exactly.
my life group leader tonight, and she's like, "What? Wrestling and General Hospital? What does that have in common?" I'm like, "Oh, more than you know. More
Yes,
than you know."
exactly. Um, but yeah, so he's off for a while. So obviously they're going to be writing Spencer off. But see, here's where we go now. Esme goes to see Heather. And now that Esme knows all of her memories and knows everything that's going on, now how influential is Heather over her? Because she's not somebody that is. that wants to distance herself anymore. Now she's like, I need your advice on how to take care of this.
Yeah.
Um,
She needs to learn from, the one who does psychotic stuff, because she's a Esme is like a young baddie. And Heather's been a baddie for a long time, and she knows how to do it, and what to be done. So yeah, like I found it interesting that like Laura came to see um
yeah, Laura was
Heather later and was
sure,
like,
yep.
"So what? Where can you tell me about Esme?" So yeah. So I'm all for those scenes. And now we finally got Esme with her memory back, and I keep forgetting how long was she without her memory now that she's acting like the big bad Esme again?
I think it's been about a year
That's just too long. Like I feel
or
like it took too
yeah,
long to
it's
make this
got to be
happen.
about a year at this point. Welcome, David. So David says that Wednesday, January 31st is Nicholas Alexander Chavez's last aired day. So
Thank you. Thank you for that info.
yeah, thank you for that information. So that's this Wednesday. So they have to obviously wrap this up moment, very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Uh but the fact is that this whole time Esme is playing everybody. She's not coming forward. The only people that really knew that she got her memory back were Spencer and now Heather. However, nobody accepted Spencer saying she got her memory back. They all questioned it. Because he called her Spence or she called him Spence. Like
Yeah.
doesn't hold a lot of water, but when
It
some
doesn't, but he knew like
yeah,
intuitively, like he knew like
yep,
because he knows her like behaviors from that, and all the signs to look for, like
yes,
because he knew her before.
yeah,
So I mean, just saying that reason alone was like, okay, really, just because she called you Spence. But I mean, there was more to it than that. But it's not like
yeah,
Spencer's like gonna be able to really explain all the ways he knows it's like, you know, original OG Esme again, I guess you could say.
right, yeah,
So it's yeah, I mean it's fine. It's not the best way that they, had him explain it, but it's fine. I mean, Nicholas is not really known for being eloquent with his words, unless it comes to Trina. Then maybe
yeah,
he pulls out all the stops. But other than that, like he's not going to be like, oh, it's not just because of Spence, blah blah blah. But everyone was kind of like, really, she's back to being a baddie. Like no one's going to believe it yet until things start to happen, which they're
right.
going to happening now.
Oh, exactly.
Back to
But
her bad ways.
see, Heather tells Laura straight out, Esme has her memories back, and she's given her all this ammunition to get Laura to have Esme arrested to be sent to Pentonville to be with her. Like she wants Esme in Pentonville with her.
She wants to put her daughter in training on how to be a crazy psychotic bitch.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just floored. Like I would think I wouldn't expect, my mother or father to want me to be in prison with them. Like you always want
I
better
don't
for your
know.
kids.
Heather's lonely in there, I guess. She doesn't have anyone to play around with. So she's like, bring my daughter to prison so I can spend some time with my daughter and teach her how to be a crazy psychotic bitch and get away with it, I guess.
That's true, I guess.
That's just, but I mean, that's kind of funny that she
Yeah,
wants her in prison with her. I mean, I think Esme's going to try to evade jail time as much as possible.
yeah,
Obviously, she only got the 6-month probation now. So, yeah, people are mad about that. I would love to see people try to enact actual revenge on Esme because they don't feel like the justice system gave them the justice that they wanted, you
right.
know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, remember the fact that she's able to be tried now for the revenge porn because they
Mm,
dropped the charges at the time, so you didn't
yeah.
go into the double jeopardy because of her having amnesia. it's just a matter of now when to pull the trigger. It's like, but now we see that Esme is freaking out because Ace is with Nicholas, and Spencer and Trina dropped the bombshell saying, "Oh, I would miss Spencer, but he's coming with me." So now she's freaking out because
Now
Spencer's
she's going to
with
get real
Trina's
psychotic
parents.
over that. And
Yes,
if you've seen today,
I did not, so I will
yeah.
see that
So
later.
you know where she's headed.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'll just leave that at that. I won't
Well,
say anything more, but I mean, yeah, it's things are going to start happening now. I'm excited for stuff to start hitting the fan, you know?
oh yeah. Well, because on Friday we saw that Esme was in. No, was it Friday? No, it was Thursday. We saw Esme was in Alexis's office, looking at her corporate credit card, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
planted a letter from Maggie saying that she, was in a new family with in Canada. So that, and then bought a ticket to Canada on her own credit card, or something to that
Not
effect.
Canada. She didn't go to Canada.
No, she didn't go to Canada, but
Spoiler
she
alert,
wanted
she
to
didn't
throw
go
the
to
cops off.
Canada.
She wanted to throw the cops off the scent because she's headed to Paris.
Yeah.
Um, Chad writes, I had to laugh at Heather snitching on Esme, and it took Heather telling her and what Esme did to Kevin to know, yeah, Esme's definitely back.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Oh,
as,
yeah.
so Heather telling Laura,
She had
and
no qualms about grabbing that big ceramic thing off the shelf and just like
no,
whacking him in the head. I was like, oh,
exactly.
okay. Because I like fell asleep during that episode, and then I had to go back and rewind it. Like I had to go back to that episode because I was like, wait, why is Kevin in the hospital? And then I was like, oh, Esme did something. Okay, what did she do? And then I had to go back and I watched the scene, and I was like, oh yeah, yeah, that she's back. She's
Oh yeah,
back, baby.
she's definitely back. Um, So again, I just want to point out that I did finally start posting stuff to our Patreon today. So there's two things up there. There's a Squared Circle News exclusive up there on patreon.com/suds and Squared Circle. And also I did post my notes from today's episode of Days of Our Lives. So those are both up there, and I'll be posting daily up on our Patreon. So go follow us. It's only a $5 tier to help the show. And again, I do want to thank James Law Jr. for buying us 5 coffees, or 3 coffees
Oh,
rather, on Buy Me a Coffee. So that'll definitely help for the show. And again, as always, use our affiliate link for WWE Shop, sudsandSquaredCircle.com/wrestling merch, as well as our own merchandise, which is sudsSquareCircle.threadless.com. All right. So moving on, Laura had a big week this week because she was talking to Dante at first about how to stop Esme. Then she goes to see Heather. Then they find, uh, Kevin being knocked over the head with the ceramic ball or whatever it was.
yeah.
Um, and then, then she voices her regrets about how, she doesn't want to have, Heather have Esme in prison with Heather. So she can't believe how she didn't see the signs. Let me put it that way. But we also had to go ahead and see Tracy and Scott, you know, and that whole story. Because Tracy's on to Scott and Lucy.
Uh-huh, yeah.
She's
Oh, yeah.
not she
She
is
ain't falling for this.
she's
Mm-mm.
not falling for it. Not at all. And I'm happy that she's not, because
Oh, yeah.
Tracy's a schemer herself.
Oh, yeah. She got to scheme right back. So I guess that's where Brooklyn learns her scheming, huh?
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
All the
Maybe a little
quartermain
bit
are
from
like
her mom, maybe a little bit from Tracy. I'm not quite sure.
that. Absolutely. All of them. So, because the other thing is, while Tracy has got her sitting at the Metro Court, Lucy and Martin walk in, And Lucy's continuously looking over there. Now, I don't know whether she doesn't trust Scott to do the job right, or she always wants to see, what's going on, what's happening, because she makes Martin very insecure, thinking that she's doing something with Scott. And, he's like, you have to tell me, be honest with me, what's going on? And that's something that, I don't know why Lucy is, I mean, I've seen Lucy for the number of years that I've been watching, but why is she so hell bent on ruining, you know, Tracy?
Well, doesn't it have to do with the ELQ shares thing? A little bit, at least.
It does have to do with the LQ shares, absolutely. But why is she so worried that Scott's not go? Well, I mean, besides the fact that Scott said he was gonna come clean. I
I'm not
apologize
sure
for that.
because I don't know all the history. Like they probably had like a sordid history of like kind of being against each other, like enemies in the past. So I don't know. Maybe someone, David or someone in the chat, can enlighten us on this whole
Well,
situation.
at this point, it's like I understand how Lucy is after Tracy because of the ELQ and because of deception and all of that. And that's why she set up this thing with Scott. But I don't understand why she has to constantly be hawking over. Like if she's in the same room, she has to hawk over
I think that's just her
Tracy.
personality. I don't know. I think that's just the
Like
Lucy way. I don't know
yeah,
any other way to explain it.
but it's like Martin is here. Martin is trying to stay in a relationship with her, and she's constantly watching over Scott. So she's throwing the shade. She's throwing the you know why is she's throwing the mistrust. Let me put it that way. She's making it seem like she's watching Scotty because he's cheating on her with Tracy or whatever the case may be. Um, so it's just another thing there that I don't know whether it's falling flat or not, but I did see when Lucy goes to the bathroom and Martin follows her in, and he's trying to find out what's going on, and she did say something like, "You are the man that I loved," past tense, and that's when Martin walks out. And that I believe was Friday's episode. So she's screwing up her own relationship to get back at Tracy.
That's on her.
It is.
I don't really care. I mean, to be honest, I'm not super invested in that storyline, so I don't really care. That's just like a Lucy thing.
Yeah,
That's just what Lucy's gonna do. So if that's she's gonna ruin her relationship with Martin over that, then that's on her.
I
And she
agree.
knows what she's doing.
Yeah,
So
I completely agree with you. Um, all right. So Tracy obviously goes along with Scotty because he understands, he knows what's going on. Uh we did see uh so let me ask you something. Do you think that they're looking to put Maxie and Spinelli back together?
yes.
Okay. Are you a fan of that pairing?
Yeah. I actually like Spinelli with a bunch of ladies. I liked him with Lulu at one point a long time ago, and everyone knows what I'm talking about if you've been watching the show for a while. So yeah, I liked Spinelli with Lulu. I wanted him with Georgie for a second before she died, before they killed her off.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace, Georgie. I love you. I miss you. Um, so yeah, but Spinelli and Maxie was always that like pairing that they ended up being like endgame. That was kind of like Spinelli's endgame pairing like a while back.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like that to happen because the guys Maxie has chosen recently, they're not good. She doesn't really know how to pick them lately. So it would be great if we could get Maxie and Spinelli back together. There was this whole conversation with Spinelli and Cody today, which was really interesting. So yeah, I definitely think they're going there. I think that's definitely something that's happening because I think Spinelli is in denial that he could potentially have feelings for Maxie again.
Mm-hmm.
And Maxie, I mean, come on. He's really good with her kids. Like, it's
Well,
not gonna take much. It
because
shouldn't take much.
Spinelli kind of thinks Cody is going after Maxie,
I don't
Um,
know where he's getting that from because,
well,
like, bro, you're living under a rock. Cody's got to think for Sasha. Like,
first of all, Spinelli doesn't know Sasha very well, so he's never seen that interplay, as far as we know, at least on camera. But the other thing is, like, you see Cody come in buying new riding boots for James, and it's like Maxie's like, well, those are expensive. You don't have to buy them,
oh, okay, that's where he thought,
and Nina just bought him some, for Christmas, but they were too small, and something to that effect. And then he had to end up exchanging them for a new pair, and
he's just
um,
being a good friend. But of
yeah,
course,
and the fact is, technically, he is their uncle, um,
mm,
or cousin, or whatever the case is with
I
that
don't know the
whole
familiar
connection.
stuff. Yeah, family
But
stuff.
there's a family connection there, and he's kind of putting, um, he's kind of showing his how he cares about that family, but he doesn't want to come out and admit that he's Mac's son. Obviously, we know he signed the document uh saying that he was, Leopold Taub's son for the money or whatever diamonds or whatever that Scott dreamed up or came up with that whole thing. So I mean, he swore on oath that he was Leopold Taub's son. And that was after he found out that he was Mac's son. So yeah, he can't even deny saying, "Oh, that was before I had a DNA test." Um, but whatever the
I'm
case
just
is,
happy they've gotten Cody past this whole like gold digger stage he was in
I
because that
am too.
was just
That
horrific.
they have
Like I
definitely
didn't like his
redeemed
character
Cody.
at all, but now they've got him out of that and seems like he's actually willing to like put in some honest, decent work doing something, like working at the Quartermain,
Yep,
whatever, the whatever on the Quartermain
stables,
property,
the
whatever.
stables.
Whatever his job is now. I don't really pay attention. I just know he's around a bunch of horses and or shit.
Yes,
Like I just know that. So I don't know anything else about really what he does. I just enjoy his interaction with Sasha, and that's just been really nice to see that character at least evolve a little bit past what it started as,
yes.
which wasn't likable at all. I don't think to anybody.
I mean, I always liked Josh Kelly, the actor. So I watched him as Cutter on One Life to Live, and I liked the character. So when he came in, I immediately took to him, and I liked the story that he had with Britt. But towards because he had that internal struggle. Do I go after her money, or do I, you know, try to be this Leopold Taub's son and try to get that money, or do I really be a good guy and show this girl that I really care about her? And then because of the situation and um, you know, Kelly Tebow leaving, he was kind of a man without a country, and then they started the whole thing with Sasha. So I'm glad they redeemed him.
Yeah,
Um,
they did.
I definitely am.
They did.
So
He's more likable now for sure.
yes. So now we know that Laura, Dante, and Chase, kind of jumping back to the Esme thing, they find out that Esme, you know, is going, or she supposedly went to Canada. So now so now Chase and Dante head up north. They head up, and I think it took them it might have taken them longer to get to Canada than Felicia and Carly in the Bobby episode to get.
Well, it depends where in Canada they went because it's
Oh,
like
true.
literally just a little drive, I guess, if you're in New York to go to Canada, but it depends where in Canada they went.
Yeah.
And
But they did go up there. They were outside of an apartment. They go in with the Mountie, and nobody's in there. So they didn't find Esme. So now we have to, we know that Esme is going to Paris. Um,
she is. Hmm.
I
She
don't
did.
think we got any Chaylin scenes this week. Chase was
No,
on with the. I don't think we saw Brooklyn
no,
at all.
Chase has been, I think, with working the detective beat, and I love seeing him in his element. He looks so hot as a detective, I gotta say. Like that is definitely his thing. Like I can tell, like he's just looking good in the suit, showing up to work, doing his thing. It's really attractive. Um, I will say, David knows this. I do love Josh Swickard. I do. Have a little crush on him, but not nearly as much as I do on Austin Butler. Austin Butler is like crazy level for me because Josh is married, and I respect that. And, that's great for him. Austin's not married. So it's a little bit different when the guy's devastatingly gorgeous and single. And I have inner teenage feelings about him, but that's another podcast.
Let's catch up on the chat a little bit. Chad gave us a bit to go over. Really admired Laura's conversation with Portia and all the regrets she had about not seeing the truth about Esme. It took a lot for her to admit it, and we all want to be able to see the best in people. Yes, I believe they're going towards Maxie and Spinelli too. I didn't understand myself why Spinelli believed Cody had a thing for Maxie. Yes, I've actually come around about Cody because I didn't care for him at the start. Agree, there's good chemistry with Sasha. I remember him as Cutters on One Life Live as well. Glad they redeemed him too.
I didn't watch One Life Live.
And I guess Dante and Chase went to Toronto, which happens to be Chad's hometown. I didn't realize he was Canadian. Toronto is a city rich in wrestling history. It's on my bucket list of places to visit, especially the Sky Dome, host of the 6 and 8.
I've been to Canada a couple of times. I can't remember where I went. I'd have to ask my dad. But I want to go to Ottawa just because that's where Simply Illogical lives. She's one of my favorite YouTubers. She just does live streaming now on Simply Not Logical for her nail polish brand. But I've met her, like in Raleigh when she did a event with my other favorite YouTuber, Sophia and Nygaard, and they did a collab. So they did a, promotional event for that. But I would love to go there and just see what Ottawa, Canada is all about. Where does Christine go? Where she go shopping?
Well, Toronto is definitely on my bucket list of places to go. And also Calgary, Alberta, Canada is on my bucket list of places to go. The home of the Hart family dynasty.
Fair.
David says, yeah, there were actually 2 Chaylin scenes. The wedding planning scene with Chase's dad and the
actual. Oh, right. That's right. Thank you.
And then Chase in Brooklyn asked Gregory to officiate their wedding. They
did. And yeah, Gregory was a little hesitant, had to take some convincing, but he's like, can we get a backup?
Right.
And
I thought that was a cute scene.
That was good. That was actually pretty good. I was like, well, when is this wedding? Can we get it Valentine's Day maybe? Like, I just want it to happen because they just took so freaking long with that.
Right.
Like 6 months between the first and the second kiss. I will never forget that. I was counting the months, y'all. I was like, how long are we going to drag this out? I need them to kiss. I need them to get married and have babies, beautiful babies. I need it to happen because I see all the things for them, all the super couple things for them, but they're just slow. It's just slow to happen. Exactly. The pacing for them has just been the worst. So that's why I'm just like, can we just get them married already? But I know I'm going to have to wait. I will wait.
So, all right. So as we go ahead and move on to other topics, we see, all right. So I have never been involved in a surrogacy situation, so I don't know all the rigmarole around it and all of the, all of the ways that all of the things that surround a surrogacy. But I think they're kind of rushing everything in terms of the Christina and Molly situation. Like, I was listening, and I'll preface this by saying I was listening to Pier 54, which I always listen to every week. Shout out to those girls who do a fantastic job. One of the reasons why I got back into podcasting was Pier 54. Her and their weekly update and their Port Charles 411. But I was listening to them about last week's episodes, and they did mention that a lot of times when it comes to the IUI, which is what they're the process that they're going with for, Molly's surrogacy, is that it could take potentially 3 to 6 tries for most average people. So for Christina to inject herself or whatever with the sperm and get fertilized and find out she's pregnant all within a week and everything, it could lead to a false positive because of the simple fact that it could take a while for the sperm to fertilize, just like any pregnancy, but especially if you're inserting it with a turkey baster. But
God.
also, when you go ahead and do the hormone treatment and everything, and it could take a while. So I don't know. For those of you who are out there watching, listening, leave us a shout out in the comments, whether it's on the podcast feed or the YouTube feed. And you can also go to our website, sudsandsquarecircle.com, and leave some feedback. I want to know, what's a good average process for somebody going through surrogacy or intrauterine insemination, the IUI process, because and do you feel offended that they're going so quickly with Christina getting a positive test result?
I don't personally feel that way just because I always knew where the storyline was going from the very beginning when they
Okay.
started with the whole surrogacy thing with TJ and Molly. And that's why they had brought, a new Christina on. So I always knew where it was going. So I don't mind because the pacing with other storylines on GH can be absolute shit sometimes. I'm just going to be honest. Like, so I really don't mind them speeding this one up. I want them to speed up Chaylin a little bit. Like, can we get that wedding like Valentine's Day? Like, let's go. I would love for them to just be married around Valentine's Day, for February sweeps and have
Yeah.
that be on, good. Because I actually have a Chase in Brooklyn video that I started making like before the I love yous even happened because I knew it was going to happen, right? I
Yep.
just had to wait because GH makes me wait for everything. So that's how it is on soaps. You just got to wait. It's a waiting game with a lot of stuff.
Yep.
So I want to finish that video. And in part of the video, I kind of want to put in their wedding scenes. So I'm waiting for them to get married. So can you put out the wedding scenes so I can finish this video, which is fine because I need time to like get my computer stuff situated anyway. But I'm waiting on the wedding. So General Hospital executives, writers, the new head writers, Elizabeth and I'm sorry, I can't remember the other person's name. Patrick and Elizabeth, just get put a rush on it on that
Well,
storyline.
if it's going to be a Valentine's Day wedding, it's probably already in the can.
I know if they filmed it, but
If
they
they,
probably haven't given it to me. They're probably going to make me wait till May, which is wedding season. So
well, I mean, either
whatever.
way, Gregory still apparently doesn't have a lot of time to live.
I
Um,
know, right? Get a rush on it. We've got a dying man over here. Like, let's go.
maybe
Why
that'll be a
aren't
new
they putting
shirt.
a rush on it? Because once they said, "Oh, Gregory's dying. He's got ALS. He's getting worse and worse." I'm like, let's get on this then. Let's get on it.
Maybe that'll be a new shirt. Gregory dying for the marriage, dying for the wedding. We'll
I
speed it
don't
up.
know. No, I don't know how I feel about
That
that.
might be in poor taste. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that
Um,
might be.
that
Yeah.
might not pass the PR test.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
Um, but catching up on the chat a little bit. Um, Josh and Amanda thought it was a long haul for them too, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Long wait,
Christy,
long
Christy
haul.
wants that Chaylin. That was from David. This is from Chad. I know Christy wants that Chaylin wedding bad. She's like, come on, get them married now.
Get with it. Get with it, y'all. Like, let's go. Like, I need a General Hospital wedding that's really lovely and beautiful and that doesn't have like some crazy dramatic thing happen in the middle of it. I just need a nice wedding, which Sunny and Nina, they got for the wedding ceremony, but then of course the big secret came out with the SEC to Michael after. But I mean, I just need one nice wedding, which goes great. Maybe there's some kind of hiccup with Tracy messing with Brooklyn or something, but I just need something like I need something, okay? I need the one happy couple that's consistent and everything's fine and there's no drama. I need one couple that I love in their honeymoon period, and I need that to be Shaylin right now.
Well, one couple that's not in their honeymoon period is Robert and Diane.
That's just so weird for me. I still not into it, man. I can't. I just can't.
It's like I like them together. I like the snark that comes out of Diane, and I like that she's, no nonsense. She goes after what she wants. but then, but Robert, in my opinion, now Robert's a smart guy. Obviously, he's being head of WSB and being a DA. He's a smart guy. Clearly, not when it comes to women, though.
Yeah, no, he's not. I still am like, he doesn't really know, I don't think, how to properly court a woman. I don't know why. He's had plenty of time and experience. He's up there in age, right? I don't know how old he is. I don't want to make any assumptions. Um, but like, dude, treat Diane way better. And I don't even know why she's giving him a second chance, but she is. So you better not blow it, because I would love to see Diane slap him in the face if he messes up. Just saying.
Well, he did mess up a little bit today, this week, as you know, he he had invited her over to, I think they were at the Savoy, um,
Right?
and he had her favorite song playing, and they were going to have drinks, and then I think the biggest thing is when it's similar when it comes to those people in relationships where one is a Republican and one is a Democrat. You don't
Mm.
want to talk about things where you're gonna oppose each other on. Clearly when it comes to Robert and Diane, he's a DA, she's a defense attorney. He's trying to get criminals off the street. She's one of their biggest defendants, especially when it comes to Sonny. So he was, saying that he had DNA evidence. He finally could put Sonny off the street. And she's like, "Oh, think again, Buster." And and he pointed out, he asked her, he's like, "Well, is he just your client that he pays you, or is he a friend?" And she's like, "Well, he's a client and one of my best friends." And she asked Robert point blank, "Is that going to be a problem for you?" And that's where we kind of left them. Um, because, and I kind of get it, but sometimes first of all, when you're in a relationship, do need to understand that everybody has other friends. You're not always going to get along with your significant others or
Mm.
spouse's friends.
Right.
There's 95% of the time there's going to be a problem there somehow. Um, but especially when it comes to a hot button topic like Sonny Corinthos and the fact that Diane is his defense attorney and he pays her on retainer. But she also said, no, this man is a friend as well.
Right.
So when it comes time for them to really get into being in a relationship, they need to work out all these kinks. And I feel like they're working out these kinks slowly but surely. And I
Very
know
slowly.
what,
Very slowly. Just,
yes.
pacing.
But I also know that there's a lot of people online that are against them because they want Robert back with Holly or Robert back with Anna,
I
or
don't know if that's possible right now, though.
I don't either. But I like Robert and Diane together, and I'll be the first one to say it. Um, but I want to see them work things out
Hmm. Right.
and kind of
Okay.
come to that agreement, like, hey, we could be in a relationship, but your job is your job, my job is my job, and we keep things separate and out of the bedroom, so to speak.
We'll see. I don't have they're not my fave, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I want to see Diane slap Robert though. If he messes up. That's what I want.
He does have
GHC.
a slappable face, and sometimes it looks like his eyes are just not level. I don't know. It
A
just
whole face.
or
I
or,
just
or maybe his eyebrows are just not level or
just
something.
he makes me a little mad sometimes. So
But
his little
he's got that Australian
mannerisms and just
accent.
him playing around with Diane a little bit. I was just like, no, no, bro, no, just no.
Um. All right. So we ended last week with the Esme scene of being in the court, and Trina kind of told her off. Um. And we did have another court scene at the end of this week. The trial for for Finn with his malpractice case. You know, Martin and Diane are the two uh attorneys going against each other. And see, here's the thing. It's hard. First of all, I'm sorry, but Michael Easton is fantastic, but the character of Hamilton Finn has as much charisma as a wet noodle.
I
Like,
know. That's
like,
why I wanted Finn and Elizabeth to work out so well, but it's just not there. I was hoping they would have more spark.
yeah,
And even watching today, I was like, I want to see chemistry, but I just don't see it.
no, I just, like I said, Michael Easton is a fantastic actor. I think he would have been a shoe in as a Batman.
Yeah, Finn is not it for him.
No,
It's not Michael Easton's fault. It's the character and the way
yeah,
they're writing Finn is Finn look like a douche or something. It's just not
all
there.
doctors have a God complex. Like, all doctors feel like they know everything and know that, they all of their, prognoses
You know what
and
these doctors need on GH? They need another Patrick Drake type character. That would spice things up a bit. And
well,
then
unfortunately, unfortunately, Jason Thompson is currently on YNR.
no, I know that. I
So,
know that. But if they had another character similar to Patrick Drake, if they
yes,
made
I
Finn a
agree.
little bit more spicy,
A little
because he's
flat.
so boring. He's just so boring. He's very flat. There's
Yeah.
nothing exciting about him. And even with this malpractice case, I'm just like, I don't even care if it goes in his favor or not, because he's just so boring that it makes me not root for him. I don't really care. I mean, I'm glad Elizabeth is in his corner because, Elizabeth sees the best in everybody
Yeah.
and loves to help out. And I love that's her character and she's like that. But I'm like, they just have no spark. They just
Again,
have
thank you all
no
for watching.
spark. They kiss and they make out in the shower, and I'm disgusted. I see no spark, nothing. I would love to see some because I feel like Becky Herbst could have chemistry with a dog. So I know it's possible. It's just with them, it's like they're good. They have good, like, friend platonic chemistry, but
Right.
not like anything beyond that. It's just not it's not happening for me. But I will take Finn over Franco any day. So there
And
is
I'm
that.
the complete opposite. I preferred Franco.
I
I
know.
thought, I honestly thought that Franco, I mean, outside of their previous characters on One Life to Live between McBain and Todd Manning, I feel that Franco was the best character for Roger Howarth on GH outside of Todd Manning because Austin wasn't doing it. And, you know, and when it comes to Mike Leaston, I feel like once they got the rights back to the, John McBain character from Prospect Park, they should have, they should have utilized that when they killed off Silas Clay. Or why didn't they just keep Silas Clay? He had much more charisma. He was a much
Yeah.
better character.
I mean, the whole reason why we don't have John McBain, which is our favorite of Michael Easton's characters on GH, is because of the whole Prospect Park thing,
Right,
which
but they got him
sorted
back.
itself out now. It's resolved, right? They could
Right.
bring him
Yeah.
back. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I would love that, but I don't think it's gonna happen. They're just gonna, I don't know. In GH, it's because of Frank. He does this thing where he brings his favorites on, his go-to buddies or whatever, and keeps like giving them new characters. And it's just like exhausting. Like it's not working for me. It may be working for other fans, but it's aggravating, especially when Michael Easton's had like what 3 or 4 characters on GH at this point.
Yeah, Finn is his. I
Like
mean, if you count the vampire, his fourth character on GH.
it's too much. Like you're trying too much.
Yeah,
Like Michael Easton's, pretty talented. I'm sure he could go to any other soap and get a job. It's not like it's a big loss, but I guess because he's buddy with Frank, Frank wants to keep him on. I don't know what the case is. I always hear that, like, well, Frank has his pets. I mean, I guess that's true because it was like that with Roger Howarth too. And Roger's supposedly another one of Frank's pets. I could be wrong. Please tell me if I'm wrong, and I apologize. I'm probably offending Frank if he's listening to this right now. But That's what I've heard. And just my experience, I know with Frank is I don't think he cares about certain characters or certain couples. Like when I went up to him at GH Fan Club weekend, I think it was in 2012 or 2013, and I was really excited. And I was like, I'm a big Liaison fan. I host a radio show and Jason Elizabeth, blah, blah, blah. I don't think he could have cared less, honestly. Like he probably was like, they're not on the agenda. Sorry. Like it's not on the storyboard. Probably won't be ever. But I mean, I just wish it just didn't seem like he cared. Like maybe he was glad I was there and I was a GH fan. But as far as Jason Elizabeth, sorry, that's dead in the water to him. So it's fine. I've gotten over it. Like I've gotten to the point where Jason's going to come back now on screen, and Jason and Elizabeth are probably going to have one initial scene, and then that's going to be it. And then I won't see them for a while, and it's fine. I accept that. I know what to expect with with the pattern that's been the pattern in the past. But going back to like Michael Easton, it's just like I wish the Finn character had a little bit more pizzazz about him, a little bit more spiciness, a little bit more unethicalness as a doctor, or he does something where he's making out with Elizabeth in the supply room or something, like pulling her to the supply room. I need some spiciness, even if I don't like Finn and Liz. I need some spiciness. You know,
exactly.
I need something.
Like, I mean, do you remember when Matt Hunter was on there and he and Maxie were hooking up in the closet, in the linen closet?
Whatever happened to the closet, the supply closet that the doctors and the nurses would put to good use for other things other than the supply closet. Like I need that supply closet to get put to good use on GH again, because that was like the glory days. But this was like 20 years ago when this was happening. But like, I need that to go back to those early 2000s era where everyone was just hooking up in the supply closet and like, oh, we've got a good 5-10 minutes. We could do a quickie while we're in here. Like, I need that. We need it. And we love in the afternoon. Yep. Love in the afternoon is why we watch, right? Like, give me some spiciness in the supply closet.
Yeah, and I think and that's one of the things that is one of the things that's lacking with General Hospital right now, and that's one of the things that people get upset about with the lack of love in the afternoon. And maybe that's going to come back with Elizabeth and Patrick taking over the helm as writers, because Elizabeth has been there for 30 years, and she's been helping with every aspect. I heard that she favors Carly. So I hope that Patrick kind of evens that out, so it's not a Carly-centric show. Even though Laura Wright could tackle anything.
Yeah, well, it's a Sunny and Carly and Nina centric show, because those are the top 3 you see who have the most episodes of all the actors.
Yeah,
like because that's who they mainly write for. That's like their top storyline, and that's what they spend on the front burner storyline most of the time.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it, but I mean, I would like to see that evened out a little bit. Like, I always am a fan when they have Elizabeth on screen more than like 2 or 3 times a week. I'm like, oh, wow, she was on a lot this week. And it always kind of surprises me because they always kind of put her on the back burner most of the time. And even when she had a front burner storyline and always got taken over by the male that she was with, hated that. I don't know why they keep doing that to her. Rebecca can hold her own storyline. She could be her own hero in her own storyline. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, exactly. No, I completely agree with you. All right, let's kind of move on a little bit. So why do you think Sonny invited Ava to the island? Sonny invited Ava to go to the island with him. Under the guise of, you're in a little bit of danger right now. Let's get you out of town to relax a little bit.
Are they going for them again?
I don't know. And what kind of a picture does that paint for Ava, knowing that Sonny is married to her friend, and if she is gonna she is gonna hook up with him or whatever,
that would be kind of wild. That would create some drama for sure.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I kind of would like it, to be honest. I don't know why Nina and Ava are friends, but I mean, whatever. They got to at least give Nina a couple of friends, even though she's a shitbag character. Sorry. No offense to the actress. Okay. Because Cynthia Watros is amazing, but yeah. And Nina, nobody likes Nina. Let's
No, and I, it's like,
well,
and
some people do. Some
I'm
people
just
do. I will say some people do.
some
Sorry.
there are
There
those
are
people
actually
that
some Nina fans out there. I'm just not one of them.
Nina has grown on me like a wart. But it's just the fact that, the portrayer is so good. I have no qualms about of saying that she's one of those people that you love to hate because that the her voice, the fact that she takes no accountability, she's a true heel. In the wrestling business, she's a true heel because she justifies everything she does, even when she wants to be good. She
Even
will
when she apologizes, she's
right,
justifying. I'm like, no, that's
exactly.
not how an apology
She's
works.
apologizing for something that she did, but she's justifying her actions and saying it wouldn't have happened if you didn't do X, Y,
If
Z.
you didn't do XYZ, I
So,
wouldn't have had to do this if you had
right.
done XYZ.
Or I'm taking accountability, but you did this to me, so that's why I did that.
I'm
And
going to give you an apology, but XYZ, which completely negates the apology to begin with.
exactly.
So,
She is a true heel. Um, so it's one of those people that you absolutely love to hate.
love to hate her, which I think she's the sweetest in person from the videos I've seen
Oh
on
yeah.
X. Very
It's
sweet.
it's just so sad that people on social media go after the portrayer.
It's the level of hate for her is about the same level that Gabby had on Days, Camila had on Days,
Really?
because she got a lot of hate. Oh my God. Especially because she got in the way of Chad and Abby for a while. So that was like a whole thing. And then she blew up the town at one point in like
Huh,
2012 or something.
that
And
was clearly before I
um,
was watching it.
yeah. So, I mean, Gabby did her fair share of crazy stuff, just like Nina has. So the level of hate is about up there with Gabby. Maybe Gabby was a little bit more. I don't know if that's a good comparison. Anyone in the chat can tell me, but that's kind of how I see it. Is there's like a pretty fairly high level of hate for Nina and Gabby. I think they're about the same level. Like Nina's just done so much manipulation and deception and just constant justifying. And Gabby was like that too. Gabby had done a bunch of bad stuff, but she like also justified it,
Yeah.
you know. But she did it in such a way that was so badass that I really didn't care because it made it interesting to watch the show. So I really loved Gabby.
And it's like when I started watching last year, Gabby was obviously still on there.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Yeah,
and technically the character is still there, although she's in Statesville.
in
Um
the prison. Yeah,
yeah. But like it's weird because when I first started watching it, she was set to marry Lee Shin, who his portrayer Remington Hoffman was actually a guest on the 10th
fantastic.
floor
Yeah.
um
Uh-huh. Yeah,
this
he was
past Sunday.
very
That
good.
is up on the podcast feed and on their YouTube page. Go check it out.
Check it out. It's
Um
good. Yeah.
Remington Hoffman, right? Yeah. Uh,
Yes, I think so. Yes.
but so um go so um she was getting ready to marry him, and then it came back that Stefan was still alive, and he had everything to do with Dr. Rolf brainwashing him and not remembering. And so it does, you know I can understand that, but and I could see the parallels between the characters because
Mhm.
there's a certain type of whine, that voice that even though you're talking normally, you could still hear the whine behind it. And both Nina and Gabby have that voice. Gabby a little different because of the Hispanic heritage. So, she's a little bit smoother of a talker, but when she gets into that whining mode, you could definitely hear it. And when Stefan wasn't ready to um love her again because he was still
She was
brainwashed.
mad. Yeah, she was doing things to try to make that happen
Yeah,
and
she
move
got
forward.
Rolf back, and he hooked
Hmm.
up some
Yeah.
concoction with, or well, actually, she got him back, and then Brady kidnapped Stefan, and they tied him up and set up a microwave and a MacGyver to
Oh,
really
that
do
that
the
whole scenario is, but that's Days though. That Days
yeah.
is campy. They're very hokey. There's things that are just like really out the box, and you just kind of have to roll with it.
Yeah. So just kind of catching up on the chat a little bit. I have not been ignoring you guys in the chat, so I apologize. I haven't been doing a lot of
I'm
this.
not looking at the chat. Only Vinny is. So Vinny, I'm getting all that info for Vinny.
So Chad's chimed in a bit, so I'm not ignoring you at all, but just kind of catching back up a little bit. He's still firmly in Robert and Holly camp. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe she'll come back again, but gotta respect uh Vinny for going with Robert and Diane. I'm just blinding out with Finn. I love Elizabeth, of course. She's a supportive partner, but she's carrying him. Caleb on Port Charles is still my favorite Michael Easton character. I didn't get to watch Port Charles a lot,
I
so
didn't either. No,
I really can't comment too much on it.
I
With
can't.
the
I've only seen a
exception,
couple clips. So
with the
no.
exception of him reprising the role after Michael Easton first came back, where he was playing John McBain and Silas and Stephen Clay, Caleb Morley. Absolutely, Becky is a charm magnet. I agree. Outside of Jason, I preferred Franco for Liz too. Not everyone, but a large group of people feel like Frank favors Michael Easton and Roger Howard and keeps putting them on different characters that people hate.
Yeah,
Um, and then
there is some
Nina
favoritism.
really is like a WWE heel. Good comparison. Now Nina is going full villain. I want to see what her next move is. So apparently she's teaming up with Valentine. They did have a scene together at Charlie's Pub, and I want to see where that's going to go to. I assume that story continues and gets a little further today.
Wait, so Valentine and who now? I'm
Nina.
sorry. Nina. Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I don't know though. I feel like Anna is the love of Valentine's life, so I'm sure that's going to come back around, and that Anna is going to get back together at some point. That's
I don't know. We'll see. I was never a huge Vanna fan, so I really can't comment too much.
either, but I appreciate the two actors in the scene and how they elevate each other, and that
Yeah,
the both of them in the scene, whether or not, regardless of whether or not you like them together, I think they're just good acting partners in a scene together. And I did think they had chemistry, even though I wasn't like a huge fan of them. So I'd be even interested to go to their upcoming Zoom event, probably just as a general admission. But I think they've got good stuff,
yeah.
going
Oh,
on
absolutely.
in their scenes. So
All right. So the second half of our title today is Sprina is off to Paris. They did go to Paris this week. First, Curtis, he used the Savoy to throw a bon voyage party.
Yep. It was a good
Spencer and
party.
Trina. And it was a pretty decent party.
Yes.
Sonny came to visit and say hello, and you know, uh, Spencer told Trina and Joss about Esme and how she got her memories back, and Kevin and Laura weren't really happy with him because of giving Ace to Nicholas, and kind of that whole thing there. But overall, I think it was a pretty decent party. Portia, of course, said that you said her piece about being unhappy with Spencer going.
I really love the conversation Portia and Spencer had,
Hmm.
because I was like, finally, these two are one-on-one talking and not
Yeah,
just with other people like right next to them. Like, I really enjoy that, because I was like, yeah, they need to have a conversation. I'm glad that happened,
yes,
because Spencer was like, look, I really do care about Trina's happiness. And she was like, yeah, but trouble always follows you. And he couldn't really,
he couldn't refute that.
negate that. He couldn't,
Yeah,
yeah, he couldn't refute it. So it was a conversation that needed to be had.
yep,
And I'm glad they had like a one-on-one type conversation about it.
yeah.
So those were good. That needed to be done. And I'm glad that was addressed before
I am
we left
too.
for Paris. So
So that's so they did get to Paris. Of course, as soon as they get into the hotel room. So some people
I'll check out
online,
Bow Wow.
yeah. Well, some people online were questioning why they weren't living together while they were out there. Spencer got a hotel room or an apartment rather in Paris, and
Yeah,
Trina's
I don't know what he got. Hotel
on
room. I think it
campus.
was a better hotel room than they had in New York, according
Oh
to
yeah,
Trina. That's what she said. So I'm
yes.
guessing it's a hotel room. I don't think that's going to be her regular place that she's going to stay.
No, she's going to be staying on campus.
I think this is the weekend before she starts
Right,
her
exactly.
internship or whatever.
Yeah.
Her thing on
And
this.
that
So
was my whole point, and
yeah,
what I responded. I think it was more on Facebook in one of the General Hospital groups that I saw was people were so upset. Why aren't they just living together while they're out there? Well, she's an exchange student, so she kind of has to live on campus. And
yeah.
Spencer, not being a student, can't. So he had to get his own apartment. It's as simple as that. Um,
He just live in a hotel room, whatever. He's
right,
got the money, so
exactly.
he can make one.
But it was funny how the bellman just kind of walks right in, with the charger.
Like, didn't you just knock? Like, can you
Right.
knock first? Like, that's what they usually do at hotels. They knock when they come back with whatever you requested,
Yeah.
right? So it was
So
weird that he had just walked in, and then Trina was like, "Man, he would have gotten the show if he had walked in a few minutes earlier."
so I mean, first of all, they should use a do not disturb sign. But
Yeah, well, they were too busy to think about that,
but
probably.
the other thing is usually what happens is in a hotel, and I know because I've done front desk in a hotel, is they knock, they announce themselves, like knock, 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 front desk. You wait 30 seconds. If you hear anything, you knock again, and then wait 30 seconds. If they don't, then you can don't answer, then you enter. You
Yeah,
don't
that
just
wasn't good
knock and slam.
etiquette. Maybe they do things different in France. I
Could
don't.
be.
I
It could
know.
be. Yeah, I've never been to
It
France or
was a little odd, weird moment, and I was it
yes.
like I saw like Trina's like this. Like, oh,
Yeah, exactly. Chad chimed in saying Portia wasn't wrong considering what we know about trouble following Spencer. At the scene, the bellhop catching, and he was laughing
yeah, that's
at
so
the
true.
bellhop catching.
That's so true.
And it's funny because some people, I swear, they just don't pay attention to dialogue. I swear, because there were some people who said, "Oh, well, the bellman came in right in time, and he was carrying a bag, so chances are they didn't have condoms. So now we're going for a pregnancy angle." No, Spencer specifically asked him for a charger or for an adapter. Like
Adapter
that
plug
was
thing,
the
I think
whole,
it was.
yeah. So that was the whole thing for that. So I mean, it's some people I swear just don't pay attention before they comment. I don't know. Um,
What are you gonna do? Soap
exactly.
stands for you.
So I believe that's pretty much it. We've kind of gone through every storyline. Oh, no, we didn't. How about Jordan and Brick?
Something's happening there. They're starting
There
something.
is
Are they
something
chem
happening.
testing them? Am I wrong?
There is, but so you know, Jordan hires Brick to find out who the calls are coming from, and he gets her phone number in his phone. Which, how the hell did he? How the hell did she contact him in the first place? I don't know.
Through Sunny?
Unless,
I have no clue.
yeah.
No,
So it's like, wouldn't he already have the number on caller ID? But whatever. He gets her
whatever.
number. He walks out. He says, "Gotcha." So, he, he's kind. I mean, Brick flirts with everybody, anyways. He's flirted with Carly for how long?
Oh yeah, he's cute like that.
And Stephen A. Smith is fantastic.
He'd
Just
probably flirt
yeah,
with me
well,
too if I was on GH. So I don't
um,
know. I'm just making it funny.
um,
Uh,
but so Jordan and Brick and she's asking for his help, and then they meet afterwards on Friday, and he says that he got some information, and we haven't really gone too much in there, but she also hasn't given him so much information about why she needs this, number tracked or whatever. They're still looking at who shot Curtis, and there have been some crazy theories that Jason was the shooter hired by the WSB
oh
to take out
wow.
Curtis.
Wow.
Um, and the 10th floor actually put it out there that maybe Charlotte hired Curtis or hired Jason to shoot at Anna.
Oh,
And
wow. That's wild.
that is wild. Matt, I will tell you that that is a wild
A
story.
wild theory, but hey, I mean, crazier things happen. I mean, it's soap opera, anything goes,
Yes,
really.
exactly. But I like their chemistry. And, people are thinking it might be a love
Bad.
interest for Jordan, but Stephen A is recurring when he can, based on when he's available outside of ESPN.
Neat. But Jordan's like a regular?
I
Oh,
believe so. I believe she's contract
okay. Well, I don't think Jordan's gotten any since that one night stand with that
with
guy
Zeke.
a few months ago.
Yeah, it was Zeke.
Zeke, I don't know
This is
why that
good.
didn't go anywhere because they were freaking
Like I said,
hot.
I think he saw the gunshot and he got scared and left.
Oh man, that's too bad. I guess he didn't have enough balls to stick around, but
And he could have been another lawyer in Port Charles. He was Portia's brother, so I mean, there's already, those ties there.
why that didn't
I don't know.
keep
I don't know.
going. I just don't understand why they dropped that. Sure, give Jordan a love interest, I guess, or at least a really good male friend. We'll see where it goes, but I'm not entirely opposed to it because I think Jordan needs to be getting some.
Yeah,
We gotta keep it spicy. It's love in the afternoon,
of
baby.
course.
We gotta
Absolutely.
keep it spicy. So I'm all for it. If that leads to something,
Yep.
it leads to something. We'll see.
All right. So, um, you know, I
Oh,
guess
and then there's maybe the whole Sunny and Nina living situation. We didn't really quite touch on a
right.
whole lot.
No, we didn't go too far into that either. Because Sonny did bring Ava to live at
Sunny
the
left.
penthouse, and
Sunny kicked her out, right? So she's living
she's
what?
living, I think she's
Metropole?
living in her old apartment
Oh,
that Ava was having until Sonny had Ava move in with him.
uh-huh. So that's
Yeah,
what's going on.
yeah.
Okay. I didn't
So,
know. And then she's kicked out of the Crimson thing. So the
yep.
only job she's got going on right now is Metroport, right? So
She owns a Metro Court, yes. I've heard rumblings that Valentine may offer her a job at ELQ. I don't know how that's going to go over with Ned and Michael, and I don't
mm,
know. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Drew and Carly kind of talking, and Carly's like, I don't know the first thing about running a
oh
magazine.
yeah. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and then also the fact that she's like, I like what I'm doing at Bobby's. I like running Bobby's. And Drew's like, no, you could do both. I know you can. And Drew's just trying to, lift her up and give her that support. But I don't know.
I guess. I mean, I think Carly could do it if she really wanted to run Crimson, but I think this probably is more of a temporary thing. I don't know if it's going to last that long, but I could be wrong.
I
She
mean,
could do
who
it for a
knows?
year. She could do 2 years. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe Lulu wakes up and then Lulu takes over Crimson.
True. There's
Because
rumblings
she did
about
work.
that for a while now too. So we'll see.
I have no idea, but all right. I think we've covered just about everything that we had for this week, for last week. A couple things before we get to our thankful minute. Thank you all for tuning in. Go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe, get notified. That last week you got a lot of notifications about me going live or posting stuff on the feed because of the simple fact that there was so much news regarding General
W.
Hospital and WWE.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. I
uh,
even saw it. I was like, what?
yes, just a lot of stuff going on. Go in the archives. I am not mentioning that here. Even though it's a soap opera, I mean, hell, the stuff that Vince McMahon is going through right now is more soap opera-ish than some of the stuff we've seen on General Hospital. Uh, but although if you read the actual court document, it might be better off in penthouse forums rather than the Port Charles
Oh
Gazette,
my. Oh
um,
my.
or the Invader. Um, but definitely go ahead and check out our archives, because all that stuff is there. Subscribe to the podcast if you are a podcast listener. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. definitely check all that out. Also go to our website, sudsandsquaredcircle.com. Over there, you'll find every link imaginable, every way to get in touch with us, and every way to listen or watch us. And uh the episodes actually go there as well. So definitely check that out. We are an affiliate for WWE Shop, so go ahead, sudsandsquarecircle.com/wrestling merch. That does have our affiliate code embedded in there, and that gives us um, a commission. Uh, Go ahead and help us out with Buy Me a Coffee. That's buymeacoffee.com. And I haven't checked that in a while, but I realized I still have it. Thank you to James Law Jr. for sending us a little bit of sending a little bit of money our way.
Thanks,
But go,
James. Love you.
what? Yes.
I love James.
Yes, he is fantastic. He's always happy to
Fantastic.
support
He
other
really is.
podcasters.
He's like the king of content creation as far as
Yes,
like soap operas go. Like,
he is. And
respect.
a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah, he does
Yeah.
a lot. He
Check
does. Like
out
not just
JLJ
yeah.
Media here on YouTube
He's
for all
putting
of his
on he's
stuff.
putting on all those Zooms for different topics and stuff. I really
Yes.
respect that he does that and he seems like he's successful at it.
Yep.
I tried one time, it didn't work out for me.
um and then go ahead, patreon.com/Suds and Squared Circle. Sign up, get exclusive content, exclusive notes. Like I said, I did put up a Squared Circle exclusive content news earlier today on Patreon, and also the show notes that I took during watching today's episode of Days of Our Lives. And I will start putting that up there as well, for every soap opera that I watch, just to kind of, give you guys some more content. And your donation through Patreon would help us out tremendously as well. And then go ahead and buy our merch, sudsquarecircle.threadless.com, and all of that. So, as always, we're going to end with the thankful minute. And Christy, I'm going to put you on the timer.
Okay, I'm thankful I got to go to New York to attempt to meet Austin Butler. Didn't happen. That's okay. I prayed about it. I wanted to be okay with it, whether or not it happened. I am fine that it didn't happen. I was in the same room with him. I was 100 feet away. I was on the fifth row. Wasn't front and center. Wasn't the first or second row because if I was, I don't think I'd be able to breathe. But it was nice. It was great. I met some friends who are also big Austin fans. My little Twitter group I met over there. And it was great. I had a great time. Got to see a Broadway show. Got to visit my friend Leonard, who's one of my Roswell friends. And overall, it was great. Great trip. It gave me the boost I needed to be productive for like a week. I think it's kind of wearing off. I feel like the high is kind of wearing off. So we'll see where I'm at the rest of the week. But yeah, it was great. And just very, very thankful. Feeling very blessed.
All right. That's your minute. And I will go ahead and give my thankful minute as well. So a minute on the timer. I'm thankful actually for quite a number of stuff myself. Getting back into church has been helpful a lot. Last week I also had a great workout buddy who I'm working to try to get a podcast with for health and wellness. He pushed me to hit personal records in the incline bench press as well as the dumbbell flat dumbbell press, bench press as well. So I hit like 3 or 4 personal records last week in the
Wow.
power hour class on Tuesday. So I want and then also finding out that from the beginning of the month I've lost 10 pounds. So getting back on track with that is definitely helpful. But overall, I'm just thankful to have a roof over my head and thankful that things are starting to pick up in terms of getting Suds Media out there, just trying to get the listens, the watches, and grow the audience. So, it is what it is. Fantastic. But we're about out of time. Anything you want to add in before we take off for the week?
No, except for the fact that I really want to meet Austin Butler and give him the gift that I raised over $300 on GoFundMe for. It'll happen though. So y'all just pray that if I go back to New York in June, that it's gonna happen. Putting it out there in the universe. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, though, I'm very grateful for this podcast. I've unfortunately I've lost some friends through Twitter and X and whatever, Discord or whatever, quite a few months ago. But I'm grateful I have a place where I can, discuss General Hospital every week, and that some of you guys out there listen to us. And I'm grateful to David too, because he's also welcomed me onto Take Two. And I just haven't had the time to like always go and do it. But eventually maybe I'll make that a regular thing once a month or something. But yeah, I appreciate it, and all the work that you do, Vinny, for this podcast. So all I have to do is show up and be myself.
Absolutely. And then as always, next Monday night we'll be here 10 o'clock. I will be on Take Two Radio next Monday as well, 7 p.m. Take Two Radio Soaps and Review, that is on Blog Talk,
Right.
7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Next Monday.
Is that Central or Eastern?
That is Eastern time. So it's 6 to 8 Central. And that'll actually be February 6th, I believe. Holy
So
cow.
if I get back to working out, then I'd have to like do it right after work. Yeah, Mondays can be kind of tough.
And then also tomorrow night, 10 p.m. is Dockside at the Bay. Check that out. That goes live at 10 p.m. Eastern time, right here where you're watching this show. So check that out. It is all about, we're watching, tomorrow's episode is about The Bay, the beginning, episode 3, which is actually subtitled Far From the Bay. So
Michael Caruso did that, right? The Bay. He's the one who's is that right?
No.
Am I correct on that? Or is Michael Caruso another?
I'm not sure Michael Caruso, but
I don't know if he worked on the Bay or not, because I did get to interview Michael Caruso once upon a time. I was looking through my old interviews on Liaison Radio, and I was like, oh yeah, then you should talk to that guy. But
so the Bay, the beginning was Gregory Martin.
Gregory Martin. Okay, I didn't know if Michael Caruso was the executive behind the Bay or not. I couldn't remember which one he did. Sorry.
No, not a problem.
Having a moment.
But yeah, Dockside at the Bay will be here tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Check it out. Again, this will go up on the podcast feed tomorrow. Thank you all for watching and listening, and have a great week, everybody. Enjoy your week in Port Charles and everywhere else that you listen or watch from. Have a great day. Have a great week, everybody.